So in IAM, we have two types of users. What are those? Root user, IAM user. So who has full permissions? Who has limited permissions? IAM. So the account what you have at the moment, that is root account or IAM account? Root account. That is root account. You haven't created the IAM account yet. Okay. And for the IAM users, can we attach and detach the policies? I mean, permissions anytime? Yes. Can we give multiple policies to one single IAM user? Yes. IAM is free or chargeable? Free. So whatever we do in IAM is everything is free. Is it free only for 1 year or lifetime? Okay. And IAM is regional or global? Global. And if you want to share your root account, how do you share? By creating a IAM user. Fantastic. Is it recommended to share that root username and okay. So is it recommended to use a root account for your daily activities? Which one you should use? And if you want to secure your account, what is that you need to configure? MFA. What is the full form? Multi-factor authentication. And what is the app that we use? Google Authenticator. And if you have MFA attached, or if you have MFA configured, is it possible to hack? No. And this MFA is only for root account or IAM or both? Both. So every IAM user should have MFA configured. For root account, 100%. There is no chance. Okay. Yes. And there are two types of access. How many ways are there to access AWS? 2 ways. What are those? Console access and programmatical access. So console access meaning the console that we use to access it, correct? So how do you log in to your console? Email and password. And if you're logging with email and password, that is called root. And if you're logging with username and password, that is called IAM. Okay. And how do you authenticate or log in to programmatical access? Keys. What keys? Access keys and secret key. What key? Access key and secret key. Do you recommend to share these access keys and secret keys to others? No. And these access keys and secret, these keys are user specific? Yes. So that meaning every user should have their own keys. Every user should have their own keys. And how many maximum set of keys you can have? 2. Once keys are lost, can you get it back? Can you regenerate it? If you regenerate, can you get the same keys back? Will you get new keys? Yes. Will you create the keys unnecessarily? Is it mandatory to create keys? No. Depend upon the requirement, you need to go either with the console or programming. So can you give me one example of programmatical access? CLI, SDKs and all other development tools. Would you recommend to create keys for the root account? Super. As usual. Very good. Okay, so let's jump on to the next topic. So guys, are you guys comfortable with the pace? Everyone? Yes. How we are going, are you comfortable with it? Right? Everyone online? Nice. Non-IT guys? Is it okay, ma, for you? Super. Everyone, okay, right? Okay. So yesterday we discussed about the users, IAM users concept. Today, let's talk about groups, IAM groups. What do we call? IAM groups. IAM groups. So generally, guys, yes, of course, Vishal. Of course, that is mandatory. There is a question from Apurva. At a time, we can create 2 set of keys. Yes or no? Yes. But if we lost, we can generate n number of times? Yes. Answer is yes. Yes. So one key got deleted. One key he forgot. Can you delete that key and recreate it n number of times? But maximum how many set you can keys you can have? 2 set of keys you can have. So if you lost your home keys, how many set of keys you have? 2 set of keys. So if you lost one key, can duplicate it? N number of times you can duplicate it. But maximum set of keys, how many you can have? 2. No, simple, no? If you lost one key, get it duplicated. How many times? It's your wish. Yeah. Good one. Okay, groups, macha. Okay, what is group? Generally, what is group? Collection of people. Generally, collection of people, we'll call it as group. But here we call it as IAM group. So can we say the collection of IAM users is called a group? Collection of users. Collection of users, we call it as group. Okay, now why we need this group? Chiti, why we need this group? Now, let's say, for example, you have so many people are there here. Okay. I'll create it. Okay. So I'll create an IAM user. So tell me what are the IAM users? Give me the names. Damu. And Preeti. Preeti. Oh, so many Preeti. Preeti. Sai. Kabir. Sunny. Okay, we got. So, what do you think? What kind of permission we give for Damu? Admin all the time. Admin. Huh? Okay. Damu, you have so much of love. You become celebrity, man. Okay. So next, Preeti. For who's Preeti? S3. Okay. Sai. Lambda. Kabir. Light sail. Sunny. Admin. Huh? So last one you decided it's admin only. Huh? Okay. Okay, no problem. So admin, that means he has a full bar. No, let's say I don't give admin. I'll give IAM because I need to ask few questions here. Okay. So we have these IAM users. Now, I want to give, how many IAM users are there at the moment there? 5 are there. So if you have 100, 200 also, I want to, let's talk about only these 5 people. I want to give Route 53 access for everyone So that means, do I need to go for each and everyone and give Route 53 access because they are all in the same team? There are 200 people. So do I need to go for Damu, I'll give Route 53. For Preeti, I'll give Route 53. For Sai, I'll give Route 53. For Kabir, for each and every person, should I go and give Route 53 access? No. What do? Create a group. What is that? Create a group. Instead of teaching one-on-one, so I'm teaching you guys, right? Is it one-on-one or is it for group? It's for group, right? So here, instead of going and giving individual permissions to each and everyone, I can group them and I can give the same permissions. So now I'll group them here. Let's say, for example, I create an IAM group here and the group name is, let's say, DevOps, for example, or AWS or any group. That's fine. DevOps group. I created a DevOps group. While creating a DevOps group, I need to give the permissions to the group. No. What kind of permission should I give here? Route 53. What kind of permissions that I want to give for the entire group, I will give. So here the question is, groups will also, can I attach permissions? Can I attach policies to the groups also? Answer is yes. Certification question. Can I attach policies to the groups? Yes. Okay. Now I have given Route 53 permissions to DevOps group. Now, can I go ahead and attach all this Damu, Preeti, Sai, Kabir, and Sunny, everyone to this group? Can I go and attach it? Yes, I can add all these users to this DevOps group. So when I add all these things to the DevOps groups, can you tell me everyone will get what kind of permissions? So everyone will get what permissions? Route 50. Do I need to give individually? No. So create a group and then add people to the group. It is like team. You are my team. So for every team members, I want to give the same permissions. So will you go and individually give the permissions? No, you create a group and add all these users to the group. Simple. And give the permissions to the group level. Whenever you give the permissions to the group level, IAM users will inherit the permissions, correct? IAM users will inherit the permissions. Okay, now everyone got Subhranshu, why you're going to security group? Huh? That's completely different. Don't jump it. Okay, so here, now question for you. When I add all this IAM to the group, everyone will get Route 53 access based on what kind of permission I have given to the group. Their individual permissions will be lost? No, everyone, Damu has EC2 access, Preeti she has S3 access, Sai has Lambda, everyone have their own permissions. Additionally, they will get the group level permissions. That's why we create the groups. Instead of giving for each and every user, we create the groups. Clear? Can I create admin group also? Yes. How many you can you can create multiple groups. Now I create a group and the users here. Now who is here? We have Nagur, we have Stalin, right? And we have Apurva. So all these people, can I add them to the group? Yes. And for admin, can I give admin permissions? Yes, I can give admin permissions there. Do you understood? You can create the multiple groups like this and you can give the permissions for the group level. There is a question, sir, for IAM group also we need to create MFA. MFA is specific to the user or for the group? For the user. Group, can we give MFA? What will be there inside the group? IAM users only, no? Their IAM users will have the individual MFAs. Group level, what kind of we do? We can give only permissions to the group. That's all. We cannot give anything else. How many people should be there in the group? Is there any limit? There will be. See, one important thing, Chiti. In AWS, there will be a soft limit. What limit? Soft limit. So there will be a limit for everything. Let's say, how many IAM users you can create? There will be a soft limit like 500. If you want to increase it, you need to ask AWS support team and then boss, see, I have 500 users, I want to increase it. And they will increase. There will be a soft limit for everyone. Okay, nice. Where and how we can create group? How questions? How do we create IAM users? Did I show you how to create an IAM user? No. How to create a group? Wait for the practicals. Simple. So, yes. So there is one more question. One user can be in multiple groups? Answer yes. One user can be in multiple groups. Okay. So can I start writing all those things for you? Yes. What is IAM group? So IAM group meaning here, collection of IAM users. Collection of IAM users. And also, guys, tell me, is it possible to create group under group? Not possible. Group under, I have created a group called DevOps. Can you create inside that? Can you create one more group? No. Group under groups, not possible. So we call it as nested groups. Nested groups, not possible. So group under groups are not possible. That meaning nested groups are not possible. Okay. Chiti, is it possible to attach whichever has more permissions? It will go. If one group is not having access to a service, whereas the other one has access, they will go with the other service. Those who it will always try to give the access. Suresh, it will go with the. If we create two groups, in one group he has a service, in another group he doesn't have a service, he will have access. Okay. So is it possible to attach multiple policies to a IAM user? Okay. Is it possible to attach multiple policies to a group? For group? Yes, I can know. For DevOps, what kind of policies I have attached? Route 53. Can I attach RDS also? Can I attach maximum? How many you can attach? 10 policies. How many? 10 policies. For every IAM user or for every group, how many maximum policies you can attach? 10. That is a maximum limit. Is it? It is possible to attach multiple policies to the IAM user and groups. Okay. Maximum how many Chiti? 10. Can you attach and detach the policies to the users and the groups? You can attach and detach the policies to the IAM users and groups. Okay. Chiti, if you attach any IAM user to the group, if you attach any IAM user to the group, their individual permissions will be lost? No. So group level permissions will be inherited? I'll change it. So if you attach any IAM user to the IAM group, IAM user individual policies remains same and the new permissions will be inherited to the IAM user. Super. Can you assign keys to the group? Can you assign keys to the group? Answer is no. Keys are user specific, Babu. What is that? Keys are user specific. Can you attach to the group? No. You cannot assign or create keys to the group. Keys are only for IAM users. Okay. Not for IAM groups. Okay. One IAM user can be attached to multiple groups. An IAM user can be attached to multiple groups. Multiple groups. No, multiple groups. Any, yeah, any. Correct. Yes, but for every group, how many maximum policies you can have? 10. Can we create another group and have 10 policies? Like this, every group can have 10 policies. But for the individual person, he'll have many. Obviously, no. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. But individual IAM users, he can inherit. He can inherit it. But individually, how many maximum he can have? 10. Okay. IAM user can be attached to the multiple groups at the same time, correct? Okay. So finally, IAM groups are used to assign policies to the bunch of IAM users at the same time. If someone asks what is IAM group, you can simply say that IAM groups are used to assign, right? Are used to assign policies to the bunch of IAM users at the same time. One question for you. When I created a brand new IAM user, Chite, I created a brand new IAM user. For that, there will be have any permissions? No. Brand new or any, if you create a new IAM user, does it have any kind of permissions? No permissions. So why I'm taking this much effort to write? Because this is one time. You can learn so much. Okay. Brand new IAM user will not have any permissions or policies attached by default. So we need to do it. Good. Is this clear till here, everyone? Okay. Nice. Okay. So here we are talking about the policies, right? Guys, we are talking about the permissions. Permissions are nothing but policies only. What does the permissions contain? Generally, rules. Correct? So I'm giving the permissions to you. What kind of permissions? You can go out, you can come, you can do anytime. So basically that's the rules it has. Correct? So here, policies, permissions, I would say brand new meaning Sharmila, new IAM user. Okay. So here, policies are nothing but we call it as we call it as policy documents. What do we call? Policy documents. And this policy document contains permissions. Policy document contains permissions. So in simply, can I call it as policies contain permissions? Contains permissions. So you don't need to worry about the policy documents and all. Policies contains permissions. Chite, these policies are written in. These policies are written in JSON language, JSON format. Which format? JSON. This is very important certification question. So policies are written in which format? Which language? JSON. Everyone, very important. It's a JSON. We'll go and see that in lab, Sushant. We'll try to create it and then we'll do all these permutations and combinations. If it is not allowing like that, we'll talk that there is a concept now. Okay. See, guys, there are two types of policies. How many types of policies are there? Two types of policies. Number one, we call it as managed policy. Managed policy. And second one, we call it as inline policy. Managed policy and inline policy. Managed policy and inline policy. Give me a second. Okay. Managed policy and inline policy. So what is managed? What are the two types of policies we have, everyone? Managed policy and inline policy. What is that? Managed policy and inline policy. So what is managed policy? Managed policy meaning, see here, for DAMO, what kind of permissions we have given? EC2. So there will be a predefined policies are created and managed by AWS. There are predefined policies that are created and managed by AWS. There will be policies already available. Those policies are called managed policies. Who are creating and managing that policies? By AWS. So here managed policy. So it will be like this. EC2 full access. There will be a policy like this. Or S3 read-only access like this. So there will be policies like this. Predefined policies are there. So those are called managed policy. Managed policy meaning which are created and managed by AWS. That is called managed policy. So can I say it as predefined policies? Yes or no? Predefined policies. Thank you, Shubhranshu. Those who want to know the full form of JSON, it's Java Standard Object Notation. No one will ask that certification question. It's a question here is, in which format or language that you write the policies? What is that? JSON. Okay, now inline policies. Now, Chitty, see here. Guys, everyone. Managed policy meaning I'll give EC for DAMO. I have given EC2 full permissions. Now, I don't want DAMO to have full EC2 permissions. I want him only to stop the EC2 instance, start the EC2 instance, nothing else. So that meaning this kind of customized policy, AWS will give you ready-madely for you? No, because what kind of requirement that we have, how does AWS know about it? So based on our requirement, we go and create our own policies. And those policies are called inline policies. Those policies are called inline policies. So inline policies are created and managed by your customers. Which one is that created and managed by AWS? Which policy is that? That is managed policy. So this one created and managed by customers, that is one inline policies. Can I also call it as customer managed policy? Yes, customer managed policy. Simple. Customer managed policy. Now there will be a question, sir, these policies are written in which language? JSON language. Do we need to learn JSON? No need. So I still remember in olden days, in so many years back, there are companies, those who hire to write IAM policies in JSON. Those who, so the people, companies will hire JSON people who have JSON skills. So later, customers has complained to AWS that, so we need to put more effort on writing JSON script, JSON language and all, JSON policies. Later, AWS came up with a tool called Policy Generator or Visual Editor. What is that? Policy Generator or Visual Editor. Using this Visual Editor concept, using this concept, you know what? When you go to Visual Editor, you just need to select tick, 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 tick. What you want. There will be some parameters. Tick, 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 tick. What you want exactly. Select all the parameters that you need. Automatically, JSON code will be generated. Easy, no? So you don't need to bang your head to learn JSON. No need. But it is very easy to understand. It's just a key value pair. You have key and then value. That's it. Right? It will just select whatever you need and then automatically the code will be generated. So you don't need to learn or put more effort on JSON. So here using this, JSON code is generated automatically using this. Okay, Chitty, is this clear? Okay, one important thing here. One important thing. I created an IAM user called Damu, Preeti, Sai, all these people. Okay, I created a user. I created a group called DevOps. When I'm writing the policy, guys, I'm not showing the policy now. When we go to the lab, I'll show you there how to write a policy. But when you're writing the policy, I want to give permissions to Damu, or I want to give permissions to DevOps. Basically, I need to. So how do I identify a resource like Damu is an IAM user? How do I identify Damu as an IAM resource? Can I call it as Damu in policy? Can I write as DIAM Damu? No. So there should be some ID, no? There will be some ID for each and every AWS resource. Here we should not call it as ID. We should call it as ARN. What we call ARN. ARN meaning Amazon Resource Name. Certification question. ARN meaning Amazon Resource Name. Amazon Resource Name. Chitty, in certification, they'll get confused. They'll confuse you saying that ARN meaning, is it Amazon Resource Name or number? Exactly. When you go to the certification, you'll put number and you'll put a wrong thing. It's not number, it's a name. How do you remember? You go to, let's say you and your friends are waiting in the bus stop. You see a nice you see a nice girl. Okay. And you are trying your best. So will you go directly and ask her, can you give me number? What she'll give? Slap experience, huh? Okay. So, so if you put lot of effort, will she give name? Yes. So Amazon resource, name or number? Number meaning Patak. Remember, no number, only name. So Amazon resource name. So there is no chance now that you put a wrong answer in certification question because it is Amazon resource. If you see number also, you'll put hand on her cheek, right? Okay, like this, you remember it. Okay, is it clear till here, everyone? See. Okay. This is only for IAM user root. It is not only for IAM user. It is for every resource in IAM. ARN for IAM user, IAM group, IAM policy. For everything, there will be a ARN. Policy, how do we, individual policy, I just give individual policy. Please repeat ARN after giving him this much big example also. ARN meaning Amazon resource name. So if you want to identify any AWS resource, how do you identify? Using ARN only. So I cannot write Damu as in policy, no? Give permission to Damu. How does Damu will identify in the policy? So if I give the ARN of Damu, then it will identify it is Damu IAM user. Correct? That is IAM user. Nice. So now, guys, very important, very important subject. As I always say, when I say very important, please get up, sit properly and listen. Okay. And again, it's very hard to repeat everything. Please concentrate. The next topic that I'm talking about here is IAM roles. That's called, we need patience to wait. Parkavin. We are learning the logics. When we go into the practicals, you will get even clearly understood. IAM roles. First question, guys. Please, everyone concentrate. First question. Is it possible to access AWS services without credentials? What do you say? No. Without credentials, how can you access AWS services? You cannot access, no. But if you want to access, you can access it with roles. Are? Sir, without credentials, how can we access AWS? Without username and password, can you access S3? Without username and password, IAM username and password, can you access EC2? Nothing. You cannot even log into the AWS services. But how do you access AWS services without credentials? That we can do it using the concept called roles. So when someone asks what is a role, you say that roles is equal to temporary access without credentials. Temporary access without credentials. When someone asks you what is a role, you should say it is temporary access without credentials. Okay, I'll give an example. Please concentrate. You need to answer my questions here. I'm taking a real-time example. See, let's take this is an EC2 instance. Okay. This is a EC2 instance. So this is a EC2 instance. And that too, it is a Linux EC2 instance. What is that? Linux EC2 instance. This is Linux EC2 instance, not Windows. If it is Windows, I can open AWS services by using console. Yes or no? But what is the operating system that I'm using here? Linux. So I have launched Linux EC2 instance. Now from that Linux EC2 instance, I need to access AWS services. How? CLI. Exactly. What is that? CLI. Fantastic. So you need to install a software called AWS CLI. What is the software that you need to install? AWS CLI. So if you go to command prompt and directly put AWS commands, it will not work. What is the software that you need to install? AWS CLI. What is that? AWS CLI. So you install AWS CLI. Okay. You install AWS CLI. Installed. How do you authenticate CLI? Using keys. Fantastic. Using keys. Yes or no? Yes. So that meaning I need to configure the keys here in my EC2 instance. Yes. Good. When I configure the keys to the EC2 instance, these keys will be stored locally inside the EC2 instance. Yes. It will be stored. When you configure the keys on the Linux EC2 instance, the keys will be stored inside your EC2 instance. And someone logged in to that Linux EC2 instance, that keys will be hacked easily? Yes, the keys will be hacked easily. Is it recommended to configure the keys on the EC2 instance? By the way, how do you access it? Now, before that, I have one question. If I want to log into the EC2 instance, what are the things that I need? What is that? So I need instance IP address and we need it. So we need to have username, and then instance password. Chitti, tell me, with IAM user, can I log into the EC2 instance? Very good. Thank God. IAM user is used to log in or access what? AWS console, not the servers. Thank God. You remember. Okay. Today, if you configure the keys, what will happen? It will be hacked. Is it safe to configure the keys on the EC2 instance? No. Let's say you have configured the keys and you are accessing AWS from here. AWS, that meaning, let's say S3. You configure this. Programmatically, can you access S3? Yes. If you configure keys on the EC2 instance, you can access AWS S3, not only S3, any AWS service you can access it. But if I don't configure the keys, will I able to access S3? No. If you configure the keys, problem. If you don't configure the keys, you cannot access it. You understood two scenarios here. I'll write the scenarios here. You understood the two scenarios. So if you don't configure the keys, what will happen? On Linux EC2 instance, can you access S3? You cannot access AWS services. Correct, Chitty? If you configure, if you configure the keys on Linux EC2 instance, what will happen? Keys are stored locally on the EC2 instance, correct? Is it safe? Which is not safe. Because what will happen? Because it might be hacked. Do you all agree? Do you all agree with the two problems here? One is, if you configure the keys, hacking is not safe. But if you don't configure it, you cannot access AWS services. What to do? I want to access AWS services. What to do? Use roles. No, you understood? You're getting it? So if you don't want to configure the keys on the EC2 instance, but if you still want to access AWS services, how do you access? Using roles. So what do I do is I create a IAM role here. I create IAM role. Can you give me one name of the role? Okay, name of the role is 6 p.m. role example. Okay, so now what kind of services that you want to access from the EC2 instance? What kind of services that you want to access from the EC2 instance? S3. So for the role, what kind of policy that you need to attach? S3 policy you need to attach. So this role you attach to the EC2 instance in the backend. From the EC2 instance, what kind of services that you want to access? For example, S3. Based on what you want to access, those policies you attach it to the role. Let's say I want to access RDS also from the EC2 instance. Can I go and attach RDS to the role? Yes. And what do you need to do what do you need to do with the role? You need to attach the role. Attach the role to the EC2 instance. Once you attach the role to the EC2 instance in the backend, you no need to configure the keys. Without the keys, you are able to access S3 now. Are you doing any authentication there? No. Who is doing the authentication here in the backend? Roles. Got it? You're getting it? You got this point? Everyone? Okay. So, yes, we can. So question here, if we use the roles, do you need to configure the keys on the EC2 instance? Yes or no? Simple. Very good. I'll write it here. If you use the role, we no need to configure keys on the EC2 instance. Very good. Super. So based on the permissions that you have attached to the role, those services that you will be accessing from the EC2 instance. Agree? You agree? You haven't got that point? See. From the EC2 instance, what is the service that you want to access inside the Linux EC2 instance? S3. For the role, what kind of policy that you need to attach? S3 only, no? If I want to access some other services from EC2 instance, those services also you need to attach as a policy to the role. Correct? So based on So based on the permissions that you have attached to the role, okay, those permissions are available from the EC2 instance. Agree? You need to wait a little bit. We'll go. We have topics, guys. Don't jump it. Okay. I'll explain, but you need to, we'll go one by one slowly. Okay. Here, question here is, one EC2 instance can have how many roles attached? Only one role. One EC2 instance, how many roles can be attached? Only one. Certification question. One EC2 instance can have only one role attached. And for the role, how many policies you can attach? Maximum 10. Chitti, you have a role called 6 p.m. role. Can you attach that role to multiple EC2 instances? Yes. One role can be attached to multiple EC2 instances. But one EC2 instance can have how many roles attached? Only one. One role can be attached to multiple EC2 instances. That can be reusable. One role can be attached to multiple EC2 instances. Super. Okay, I'll give you one more example for you. A roles example. Chitti, you have the EC2 instance. You only answer it, okay? I don't tell. This is the EC2 instance. And inside this, I have a Java application. I have Java application. Tell me, from Java application, can I create S3 buckets? Yes or no? So now here, this Java applications needs to go and create S3 bucket. So this Java application need to have permissions to S3 to create it. That meaning, do you create IAM user for Java application? No. What do you do? What do you do for this? So generally, we need to put the keys here to authenticate, correct? So will you put the keys in Java application? Will you keep the access keys and secret key in your application, which is safe? That keys no one should be able to see. If you're putting the keys in your application, which everyone can see, is that good? No. But how do your Java application will go and create the S3 bucket now? How do you create? Yes. What do you need to create? A role you need to create. What do you need to create? Role. So you create a role, and for the role, what kind of permissions that you need to attach? S3. And that role can be attached to the EC2 instance? Yes. And now Java application can go and access S3 buckets? Yes. Do you understood? Another example now? I'm hearing this multiple times, guys. I'm taking this. Why I'm putting this much effort on the theory to make you understand? I also know that practicals need to be done. Okay, I understand that. What is the deal that I had? So, okay, now can I stop this and then can I go direct to the practicals? Let's see. Let me hear from everyone. Don't you need the logics? Don't you need the theory? Don't you need the certification questions? Don't you need the interview questions? Don't you need the topics of the deep? We need, right? Don't I know that when to start the practicals? Correct? What is the deal we had? Then why you guys, couple of people are asking practicals. Guys, when I start practicals, I'll choose you guys. I'm telling you, every day, have you done practicals or not? And I'll ask you random questions on the practicals. First, leave it to me, no? So we have 165 people in this batch in total. So we have non-IT also, right? I understand you are an experienced person or you don't have patience. I understand. But let's go with, just wait for to complete this and then we'll go and do the practicals. No. It's not for only for one person. I'm telling to everyone, right? So please be patient. You'll get a fruit once you get everything. Okay. So it will take only few minutes. I can go and I can directly show you the practicals. Do I need to waste these many days? Tell me. Do I need to spend this much time for each and every topic? If you go to any YouTube, any Demi or anywhere, the topics that you are learning here, nowhere you will get these topics. For bloody IAM user, we took one day, one whole class, right? IAM user used to log into the AWS services. That's it. I can conclude it. Right? So please try to understand. We'll go slowly. You will be there with me only for 2 months, 50 days or 55 days, maximum 60 days. Get me everything out of me. Okay. Let's not skip the topics. Okay. So whatever I'm saying, all these things, that is for your good health only. Okay. So please don't take your heart. I want everyone to be as super AWS engineers. It is not for just for namesake. You cannot call it as just I am an AWS guy. You should have a depth in the concept. Okay. So all right. Is this clear till here? Everyone? Super. Okay. So roles. So what is a role? Yes, role is a temporary access without credentials. Did we add any credentials in the roles? No. So if you want to access, so these roles can be attached to any service. I have given an example of EC2 here. So you can go and access, you can go, let's say, for example, I'll give an example here. For roles, I'll give one more example. So I have, let's say, so many EC2 instances are there. So many EC2 instances are there. I want to stop all these EC2 instances at night, exactly at 9 p.m. How do we do this automation? Using which service? Lambda, correct? Okay. Shitty. I have Lambda here. I have Lambda function. Now tell me, does the Lambda function have access to go and stop all these EC2 instances by default? No. How does Lambda function will have access to EC2 service? No. What is it? So how do I provide access to Lambda function? By creating roles. So I create a role here. I create a role here. And for the role, what kind of permissions that I need to give? EC2. So when I go and attach this role to the Lambda, right? As the Lambda has what permissions now? EC2, it go and stop the EC2 instance. So if something wants to done behalf of us, role will come into picture. Now you understood? One more example. Okay. So very important. I have one more topic also. So next here we have something called identity provider. What is that? Identity provider or federation. Outside Sai Teja. Federation or identity center. IAM identity center. All are same. This is the new one. The latest, they have changed the name. Identity center, IAM. Okay. So identity provider federation, guys, this is an advanced topic. Actually, we no need to learn about this in associate level, but as this also come into, it's a good for your knowledge. So that's why I'm sharing this. So federation meaning, have you heard about SSO? SSO. What is SSO? Single sign on. What is that? Single sign. I'll tell you example, those who don't know. When you're surfing in internet, when you see a new website, there it will ask, sign up, log in with your Google Gmail, log in with Facebook account, log in with a LinkedIn account. Yes or no? So instead of you going and registering and create a user inside that website, you are logging with the Gmail. Correct? So with one Gmail, can you log into multiple applications? Can you, with one credentials, but one single sign on, can you, with one single sign in, can you sign on to every applications? Yes. That is nothing but single sign on. With one sign in, you can access multiple services. That is called single sign on. In shortcut, we call it as SSO. Chitti, one beautiful example I'll say. Did we learn about organizations? What is organizations? Organizations. Organizations. If you want to manage multiple root accounts, and how do you manage multiple root accounts? Using organizations. So now let's say we have our friend Damu. Damu joined my company. I have dev AWS root account, testing AWS root account, production AWS root account. How many root accounts I have? As a Damu, he has joined my company and my company will give his email ID and password. Yes or no? I'm talking about company email ID and password, not AWS username and password. I'm talking about company email and password. Let's say he has joined my company, let's say Infosys, damu@infosys.com. With damu@infosys.com, can he log into AWS? No, he cannot log in. That is different. In AWS is different, correct? But Damu, I want Damu to access dev environment, test environment, production environment. How many environments, how many accounts that he need to access? 3. So now I will set up this SSO with damu@infosys.com. He can directly access these 3 accounts without creating any account in AWS. In your internet, will you sign up to the new websites? No, you just log in with Gmail, log in with LinkedIn, log in with Facebook. Same here, with your initial sign in, you can log into multiple services or with one account, you can log into multiple accounts. That is called single sign on. Okay, so now I'll write an example. I have a company email ID and password, correct? A company email ID and password. With company email and password, you went into the company and then you have AWS credentials, correct? Generally. And then you will be logging into the AWS, correct? AWS console. This is how generally it will be, correct? So you'll create an IAM user here. Chitti, yes or no? Generally we do like this, correct? You have the company account and then AWS admin will create an IAM user for you and then you will be logging into the IAM user. But how many root accounts I have? 3 root accounts I have. That meaning he need to have how many accounts in general? 3 accounts he need to have, correct? Yes or no? Ma. So how many AWS accounts I have? 3. If you want to access this 3 AWS account, how many IAM users you need to have? 3 IAM users. First IAM user I need to create in one account. Another IAM user I need to create another account. Another IAM user I need to create into the third account, correct? So I need to manage how many users? 3 users. Isn't it difficult to manage 3? Yes or no? So if you want to combine all things and have only one, and how is that possible? Using SSO. Understood now? Using SSO. Clear? Super. So this is a little bit advanced topic, but in this advanced topic, I just wanted to introduce you one super excellent topic, guys. which is very, very important. I'll tell you, see, this is company. What's it? This is company. Okay. In company, we have so many desktops. We'll have so many desktops. We have desktop, we have desktop. So many desktops will be there. Desktops, your workstations will be there. Desktop, 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 desktop. Okay. Chitin, now question for you. See here. This is the company. You are joining my company. Let's say this company is Infosys. Infosys has so many desktops in their company. You are joining now. If you are joining now, company will give email ID and password to you. Yes. Company will give email and password. With this email ID and password or username and password, can you log into the first desktop? Second one, third, fourth, every desktop you can log in. How does the desktop know your email ID and password? Logic, no? How does all the desktops knows your email ID and password? So do you think the admin has created in each and every desktop, he created a local user? Now I have 100 people who want to log into the desktop. That meaning I need to create 100 local users. So that means I need to create 100 here also, 100 here also, 100 here also, 100 in each and every desktop. I need to create 100 users. Is that possible? So with the one email ID and password, I need to log into all my desktop. So is it recommended to create local users in each and every server? No. What you need to do in this case, City, very important. There will be a separate server for this, which is called Active Directory. Very, very, very important. What is that? Active Directory. In shortcut, you call it as AD. Active Directory. So, and this Active Directory is also called it as Domain Controller. Another name. What is that? Domain Controller. In AWS, we call it as Directory Services. This is another service. What is the Active Directory concept in AWS? Directory Services. What is that? If anyone asks you any question, which is the Active Directory concept in AWS? Which service is that? Directory Services. Chitty, now you tell me, is it recommended to go and create local users in each and every desktop? No. Where should I create now? I create user here. User 1, user 2, user 3. Here I create. Like this I create. Huh? And then, what is my domain name here? Infosys.com, correct? My domain name is Infosys. So generally, when you're working inside a company, when you're logging to your laptops, you will see username, password. In the bottom, you have domain. Yes or no? There will be bottom Infosys.com, Wipro.com, TCS.com. There will be a .com. There will be a domain there. So now, what they will be doing is, Chitty, all these desktops, they will add it to the domain controller. All these desktops, they will join. What they do? They join. What they do? They join. They join all this desktop to the domain controller. Now, see, if user 1 is logging in, now tell me, see here, if user 1 is logging to this desktop and he has given the username and password, and the request will go to the Active Directory, yes or no? Because these desktops are joined to this directory, and it will ask, hey, user 1, hey, Active Directory, user 1 has logged in. Can you check the user 1 password is correct or not? So this Active Directory will check. This Active Directory will check user 1 password it will validate. It is correct or not. If it is correct, user 1 can log into the desktop. If it is not correct, it's a password incorrect. Generally, you are logging to Gmail also, no? Yahoo, Gmail. There will be authentication setup in the backend. So which is authenticate setup here in this case? Active Directory. And it works in with the protocol called LDAP. What is the protocol it uses? LDAP, lightweight active directory protocol, something. Understood? You're getting it? Okay, now Chiti, this same user, he can log into all the desktop. With the same user, can he log into the AWS also? Yes. What he need to do? He need to set up SSO. What he need to do? He need to set up SSO. So what they need to do, this till here it is okay. What they need to do is they need to set up a federation to AWS, federation from LDAP to AWS. They need to set up this. Your administrator and you both will mix and then they will do the setup. Okay. So now I have LDAP. Experienced people, can you tell me what kind of third-party tools that you guys to access this SSO? In real time, you have Okta. Have you heard about it? Okta. You have Okta. You have what else? OAuth. You have so many tools available in the market, right? So they will do the federation using LDAP. You do using Okta. You do using OAuth. You do. There are so many things. So what they do is here in AWS, they create a role. Guys, they'll create a IAM role in AWS. And then you set up a federation between this LDAP and AWS and create a users here. Simple. Actually, I'm not going deep here. User 1, user 2, user 3, you create like this here. Right? And then you create a roles in AWS called developer role, admin role, and then you can go with the DevOps role. You create a roles, and for each role, can you assign permissions? So like this, can I give Lambda permissions for this role? Admin meaning admin permissions. DevOps meaning, let's say I give EC2 permissions. I give. And can I attach this each role to the user? Can I attach this each role to the user? Yes. So now when the user one has logged in, as he has Lambda permissions, he can go into the AWS and access Lambda. So do we need to create IAM users here? What is the only thing that you need to create? Roles. You need to set up a SSO and then create a roles in AWS, and with LDAP or Okta, they'll access it. As I said, this is an advanced topic. We no need to worry much on it, but I just wanted to give more information. But when we have time permits, I'll go deep in this concept later. But now you understood the topic, no? That is more than sufficient for me. Is it clear, everyone? Guys, see here. We have Damu here. We have Dev AWS root account. We have test AWS root account. We have prod AWS root account. We have all this. Okay. So here we have SSO in between. So I'll be creating Damu here. And then this SSO will generate one URL today. Okay. Damu will open this URL. Once you open the URL, he has access to all these 3 accounts. With one user, he can access multiple AWS account. Does that sounds good for you now? It's understandable that, yes. Any questions? So these federations, it's not free. So you need to have a local setup and then AWS setup. So we're not going to do much there, but rest everything we'll do. Is this clear on the topics on roles today? Groups and roles? Super. Take the screenshot. Correct, Vishal. You will have only one URL. You will have only one URL. With one URL, they can access multiple AWS accounts. And the usernames and password will be created in that identity center, SSO. And with that URL, they can access which kind of permissions they have, they can access the accounts. And the second one. Exactly, Apurva. Super. Can you give me the final CC for today? So, okay, those who are waiting for it. So tomorrow, we'll have one more session on IAM. And day after tomorrow, we'll start practicals. Okay, good. That is all, guys, for today. And I'll see you tomorrow with the next stuff. Until then, take care. Bye-bye. Have a nice day and good night.